Maximinus, also known as Maximinus Thrax, was the 28th emperor of the Roman Empire, reigning from 235 to 238 AD. His rise to power, brief and tumultuous reign, and eventual downfall are emblematic of the crises faced by the empire in the 3rd century AD, often referred to as the crisis of the 3rd century. Maximinus's reign is particularly noted for his harsh rule, his status as an outsider, and the intense military and political turmoil that marked his time in power. Maximinus was born around 173 AD in the region of Thrace, likely in a town near what is now modern-day Bulgaria. His full name was Gaius Julius Verus Maximinus, and he came from humble origins, with his father being a low-ranking soldier. Maximinus's rise to prominence is attributed to his physical stature and strength, qualities that earned him a reputation as a formidable soldier. In his early years, he served in the Roman army, rising through the ranks due to his military prowess. By the time he became emperor, he had already established himself as a powerful and influential figure within the Roman military structure. Maximinus's early career involved service on the empire's borders, particularly in the eastern provinces. It was during his time in the army that he became known for his exceptional size. He was reputed to be over 8 feet tall, and his brutal approach to leadership. These traits would play a significant role in his later career, particularly during his time as emperor. Maximinus's path to the throne began with the assassination of Emperor Alexander Severus in 235 AD. Severus had ruled for nearly 13 years, but his reign ended in a crisis when he failed to effectively address military unrest along the empire's borders, particularly with the Germanic tribes. Severus's army, frustrated with his leadership, mutinied and ultimately killed him. In the wake of this, the soldiers in the eastern provinces where Maximinus was stationed proclaimed him emperor. Maximinus's ascent to the throne was not the result of a traditional political or familial claim to power, but rather military acclamation. Despite his humble origins, Maximinus's military success and his ability to command loyalty from his troops made him a formidable figure. The fact that he was a soldier who came from the ranks of the military gave him a unique position in a time when the Roman Empire was plagued by military dissatisfaction and political instability. His rise to power was largely unopposed by the Senate, which had little control over the legions at that time. Maximinus's reign was marked by his authoritarian rule and harsh military focus. Unlike many of his predecessors who sought to appease the Senate or the elites of Rome, Maximinus largely ignored the Roman aristocracy, preferring instead to rely on the support of his troops. This alienated the Senate and led to significant tension within the Roman political structure. One of Maximinus's first acts as emperor was to launch a campaign against the Germanic tribes along the empire's northern border. This was in line with his military background and was a demonstration of his commitment to defending the empire's frontiers. His military campaigns, however, were costly and contributed to the financial strain of the empire. Additionally, Maximinus's lack of concern for the Senate or traditional Roman institutions further alienated the political elite, leading to widespread dissatisfaction among the aristocracy. Maximinus's relationship with the Senate was particularly strained. He refused to honor the traditional senatorial privileges and dismissively regarded the Senate as an institution. His tyrannical style of rule and his disregard for established traditions made him deeply unpopular among the Roman elite, but he managed to retain the loyalty of the military, which was his primary power base. Maximinus is best known for his military campaigns, particularly his efforts to secure the empire's borders against external threats. His most notable military engagement was his conflict with the Germanic tribes, including the Alemanni, which was part of the broader struggles on the northern frontier. He waged a series of campaigns against these tribes and achieved some victories, but the financial cost of these wars and the strain they placed on the Roman economy were significant. In the East, Maximinus also faced a series of challenges, including dealing with the Sassanid Empire in Persia. However, his reign was primarily characterized by his focus on the military, often at the expense of the civilian administration and the overall stability of the empire. Despite his military successes, Maximinus's reign was plagued by internal problems. The cost of his wars and his reliance on the military led to heavy taxation, which in turn caused widespread dissatisfaction among both the Roman population and the elites. Furthermore, his brutal, autocratic rule alienated many segments of Roman society, including the Senate and the provincial governors. The most significant event that led to his downfall occurred in 238 AD, a year that would come to be known as the Year of the Six Emperors. A series of revolts erupted across the empire, with numerous military factions rejecting Maximinus's authority. The situation was exacerbated by a rebellion led by a group of provincial governors who had grown tired of his oppressive rule. The governor of Africa, Gordian I, was declared emperor, and his son, Gordian II, was appointed as his co-emperor. The Gordians, though not yet in control of the entire empire, were supported by a significant portion of the Senate and the military. Maximinus, unable to suppress the revolts and facing growing opposition from all sides, attempted to march on Rome. However, as he neared the city, his own troops, disillusioned with his leadership and suffering from poor conditions, turned against him. Maximinus and his son were murdered by their own soldiers in late May or early June of 238 AD. The Gordians, after Maximinus's death, were recognized as the legitimate rulers of the empire, and Maximinus's short and brutal reign came to a violent end. Maximinus I's reign, though brief, left a lasting impact on the Roman Empire. His rise from humble origins to the imperial throne was extraordinary, but it also marked a shift in the empire's political and military culture. His disregard for the Senate and traditional Roman institutions highlighted the growing power of the military in determining imperial succession, a trend that would continue in the centuries to come. Maximinus's death marked the beginning of a period of relative stability under the Gordian emperors, but it also underscored the deep divisions within the empire. His reign is often cited as a symbol of the growing crisis facing Rome in the 3rd century, which included military anarchy, economic strain, and political instability. Though Maximinus was a capable military leader, his inability to balance the demands of the military with the needs of the broader empire ultimately led to his downfall. His reign, marked by excessive military expenditure, heavy taxation, and alienation of key political groups, demonstrated the dangers of a leader who sought to rule by force alone, without considering the complex political and social fabric of the Roman state. In the broader context of Roman history, Maximinus is often seen as a representative of the volatile nature of imperial rule in the 3rd century. His reign reflects the growing militarization of Roman politics and foreshadows the challenges that later emperors would face as they sought to maintain control over an increasingly fragmented empire. Maximinus' legacy is primarily one of a strong man who ruled through fear and military might, but his failure to secure long-term political stability highlighted the vulnerability of the Roman Empire during its period of crisis.